So I'll be taking some of the questions as well that a lot of you have been asking, and then we can do justice to it. Hello guys, welcome to Investment Talk with Chuka. We've done close to like 3-4 months now, and then I think there's the need for us because we've got a couple of questions. Apologies, I'm not able to respond to all the questions online. The workload, and then of course I have so many questions. So for those of you that have not responded to your questions, I apologize. So I'll be taking some of the questions as well that a lot of you have been asking, and then we can do justice to it. So today we're going to be answering questions on different topics, especially the ones that we've talked about, what is currently happening in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So let's start with this question. What does the tariff war mean on the Nigerian economy? So Donald Trump came on board less than 6 months ago. Basically, Donald Trump is more of a business person, so he has this belief that look, American trade have not really done well or have been cheated by especially China as regard trade deals. So he feels that most of the trade negotiations or most of the trade deals are not in favor of America. And so one of the things he came up with to address it is tariff, right? So what is tariff? Basically adding extra cost. Let me just use elementary explanation. Extra cost to goods coming into any country. What does Donald Trump try to achieve in doing this? First and foremost, he feels that most of the goods in America, for example, foreign goods, especially from China, and then he feels that American products or American service products actually are not, the number of goods from China to America is much more than the number of American products to China. So he has to, in quote now, protect the American economy, American consumers, and to ensure that America has a fair deal in the trade. So how to increase the amount in which goods that are sent to America by China or any other countries like Canada, Mexico, and the European Union, increase the tariff so that it's more expensive. So in so doing, is increasing or developing the local market. But again, on the flip side, it's also hurting America. In terms of inflation, it's going to hurt America because when he increases the tariff, he increases production, which obviously increases local production. Then you have more money. Of course, more money in circulation. More money in circulation means inflation. On the other side, most of American tech companies, for example, like Apple, for example, a lot of Apple technologies are produced in China. And so that also will hurt American business, since Apple is an American business. So over the past 2 days, he came up with another strategy. I said, look, you know what? I'm going to hurt the tariff on American product. Tariff on tech now. Tariff on tech. So basically what he's trying to do is to say, look, you know what? Okay, fine. This is going to affect Apple's and some of the technology companies in America. So I'm putting a hot on it while I continue to increase tariff in the other side. So how does that affect Nigeria? Basically, for us, most people will say, okay, well, Nigeria doesn't have much export. We don't have much we are producing, and so it doesn't hurt us. But then it hurts us, especially when it has to do with oil price. So you've noticed over the couple of days now, oil price has dropped from around almost $80 per barrel to almost $55 per barrel, and this is a major problem for us because the only source of foreign exchange revenue for Nigeria is sale of oil. And so if oil price drop, it means that the revenue will drop. And if revenue drop, it means that we continue to have more pressure on the economy. And so most of the folks who feel that, look, it's America problem, it's a developed country problem, it doesn't affect us because we don't produce. Well, that's not what it is, because for us, the major component of our export and the major component of what what we earn, especially in terms of foreign exchange. Dollar, for example, has been stable around the 1500 for the past 1 or 2 months. So with this oil price drop, it's going to affect dollar. Exchange rate is going to go up, because the more we produce, the more we sell, the more foreign exchange we earn, and the more we're able to meet the demand. Currently, we're not even able to meet the demand, and yet oil price is dropping. So for us, is a big problem. Nigerian government will have to diversify, in order to be able to cushion the effect on this tariff. So let's go to the next question. What is the effect of the oil price drop on the Nigerian economy? I think I've just taken part of it. I've just discussed it. Once we have a dip in oil price, we have a dip in revenue. When we have a dip in revenue, we have a dip in ability of government to earn more money to be able to take care of infrastructural development. Currently, we are facing security challenges. The dip or drop in oil price is a no-no for us as a country. So we must do everything we have to do in order to ensure that the oil price is stable at, I think the current benchmark, the appropriation bill benchmark is $77 a barrel, and now it has dropped to 55 or 55 levels, as the case may be. So there's a shortfall there. And don't forget that already we're not even producing enough, because the oil benchmark was benchmarked at $77 per barrel at 2.2 million liter barrel per day. So we are currently producing about 1.5. So you see, I have a shortfall of about well over 800,000. And then now the oil price has dropped. So it's going to be a major problem for us, and that is why I always advocate that, look, government need to diversify resources. We don't need to concentrate so much on the oil. The solid minerals, a whole lot is going on there. Government is not paying attention to that, and there are countries that just survive on solid mineral, gold, all sorts of mineral resources that we have in Nigeria. So I wonder why government is not concentrating on that. And of course, also government also has to concentrate on agriculture. Currently, part of the issues we have in agriculture is, number one, is insecurity. Farmers can't go to farm. Those who are able to go to farm, either they get killed or they get maimed and all that. So much has to be done in order for government to be able to meet up to the expectation and then grow the economy the way it should be grown. So let's look at the third question. Central Bank and its price stability. What have they done so far to achieve this? Is the price stable? So the current CBN governor, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, one of his major policy selling points is price stability. So when he says price stability, what is he talking about? Basically, he's telling you that he wants exchange rate to be stable. First of all, when he came on board, I must give kudos to him. Actually, we had multiple exchange rate figures, started from the parallel market to I&E window to interbank and all that. So he's been able to unify all that, and then we have one exchange rate. However, when he talk about stability, what is he talking about? So he's trying to say that, look, you know what, I want, for example, I want price to be stable at, for example, now at 1,400, which is 1,400. So stability means that in the next 6 months or in the next 1 year, this price will remain within this range. Now, what does that do for an investor? First of all, when you have a stable exchange rate, it helps for planning in terms of investment. It helps government to measure productivity as well. And then most importantly, it helps to keep inflation figure manageable. So have they achieved that? Well, for the past 2-3 months, exchange rate has been hovering between 1,500 to 1,650. Which is 1,500 to 1,650. As of 2 days ago, it's currently trading around. It was trading around 1,650, 670 levels. So, have they been able to achieve their aim? Well, it depends on where you're looking at from. The CBN will say, look, we'll be able to achieve this. But then the end users will say, look, it was at this level 2 days ago. Today is increased. So, why is he so concerned about exchange rate stability? One is the fact that it helps to reduce inflation. Number two, like I said earlier, planning. Number three, it helps governments, in terms of trade negotiation. For example, IMF, World Bank, and all that. So they can say that, look, you know what, this is where Nigerian exchange rate is, and for the next 2-3 month or next 6 months is going to remain like this. So, but then on the flip side, because every coin has two sides, so what is the implication of the exchange rate stability? One is that for exchange rate to be stable and for him to maintain stability, it means that the government will continue to increase, especially CBN now, increase MPR, okay? And in so doing, he's tightening up the excess liquidity in the system. Though there are traditional means of mopping up excess liquidity in the system. You have the open market operation, then you have a CRR, cash reserve ratio. Increasing MPR, you're also trying to reduce the money in circulation. If that happens, what then happen? The flip side of it is that borrowing, interbank lending to bank, bank to customers will increase. And when a manufacturer that naturally take facility from a bank at say 27%, and all of a sudden, because of MPR, increase in MPR, the banks are now giving loan at 40%. What happens is that manufacturer will factor in the cost of that increment into production, and then what then happen, the price of goods that you probably buy for like 2,000 will go up to like 5,000, and then the end user is affected. So there are multiple dimensions to this price stability. For me, really, my own opinion is that price stability does not necessarily mean that you have to keep increasing the MPR for us to have exchange rate stability. Just simple economics. I mean, when demand outweighs supply, what happens? Price will go up. So the reason why exchange rates keep going up is that we have huge demand with little supply. So what should we do? We need to check the supply end of the FX, and that will help cushioning the effect of the demand. And why are we having short supply in FX? It is because our primary means of foreign exchange revenue is oil, and then we're not producing enough. I mean, it's not rocket science. When you have a shortfall in production, you have a shortfall in revenue. When you have a shortfall in revenue, you have a shortfall in earnings, and of course, you will not be able to meet your demand. So for me, price stability, they've done well, but again, I think that we need to look at the production aspect, the output. Why are we not even producing enough? Nigerian issue is more of a physical issue than the monetary issue, because when you have a physical issue shadowing things that ordinarily should be the things that are free given, for example, security. If you drill down on the last inflation figures, you find out that though the inflation technically drops moderately, however, the components that made up those figures, the agri components, for example, you find out that the food inflation has continued to go up. And why is it going up? It's going up because farmers are not producing enough. Why are they not producing enough? They can't go to the farm due to insecurity. So these are components that I feel should be looked into. Most importantly, should be addressed, especially with fiscal policy. So the government has to do more. The next one says, what are the best stocks to purchase for now? Recall that the last time Fahad and I had a conversation regarding stock. Every stock has a stockbroker, if I may use that word now. So you need to talk to your stockbroker to advise you. I think like usually what most people do is at the beginning of the week, you just get across to your stockbroker and ask your stockbroker to run you through stocks that are that are in demand, stocks that are doing well. That way you're able to see, plan, and make your informed decision. Now the last question, it says, is it possible to top up on already running T-bills? I mean, basically, so when you purchase a treasury bills or bond, for example, it has a tenure, all right? So, but that doesn't mean that if you have the means of buying more, you cannot buy more. You obviously can buy more. Just that the only thing is you have to, of course, go through the same process as before, get to your bank and get your bank to give you details of what the rate is currently at. Because the truth is, if I buy a 6-month bill 2 weeks ago and I'm buying that same 6-month bill, of course, it's no longer 6 months, so the tenor has dropped, has reduced. The price at which, or the rate at which I bought it 2 weeks ago will not be the same as at today. It might go up, it might come down, it might remain the same, but that is the factor of market dynamics. So guys, I believe I've done justice to some of the questions, and like I said earlier, my apologies, I'm not able to answer everyone's question, but I will keep doing this Q&A so that I'm able to answer most of your questions live. Some I'm also answering, online. So till we meet again, this is your investment advisor Chuka Nwachukwu. Thank you and bye bye for now.